Hey guys, it's me, and today I'm going to be doing the Passenger Book Challenge. So, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken is a novel about these families that are able to find holes in the fabric of the universe that enable them to travel across centuries and across continents to different time periods, which I think is way cool, and also I'd love to be able to do that. So basically, they could be standing in modern day New York and they could find a hole through which they could travel to the days of the Renaissance or ancient Egypt. It's really, really fun, and I'm only about halfway through the book, but I love it so far, and the characters are absolutely endearing, and they're so much fun to read about. They're so interesting, so different from anything that I've read in the past. I'm just so absorbed by this book. I decided that because there's so much hype surrounding this book, that I would make a book tag to get myself into it and get hyped to read the rest of it. The first question is, what is one place you want to go because of a book? My answer to this question is Russia because of Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I wanted to go to Russia before I read this book because I love traveling and I just like to go wherever I can go, whenever I can go there. However, Shadow and Bone is written in a fantastical world that's really reminiscent of like medieval Russia. It's such a cool place and there's so much fun mythology surrounding the story. At any rate, it's got a really fascinating culture, a really gorgeous language, and visuals. The visuals in my head because of this book are absolutely spectacular, and I really want to go there, not only because it snows all the time apparently, but also because it's really cold and I want one of those big fur hats. But Russia is a place that really fascinates me and that it's fascinated me for a really long time, so I'd love to go to that area. I don't care what era it's in. I'll go now. I'll go 100 years in the past, and I'll go 50 years into the future. I don't care. Send me there. I'll go. What is one time period you want to visit because of a book? So this question's a little bit harder because I kind of like the time period that I'm in. I mean, you can say a lot for the Renaissance period or, I mean, the 60s and how everyone was just having a good time without technology and all that, but honestly, I kind of like the 21st century. I think that there's a lot of access to information now, and I'm really into that. And also, back in the day, it was really difficult to get from place to place. So now I'm able to see so much more of the world than I would have been, say, 70 years ago. That being said, if I had to choose a time period from a book that I'd really love to visit, it would be the Victorian era from Clockwork Prince. I just love those dresses that all the women had, and it would suck to have to wear them all the time. That'd be awful, but just being able to wear them voluntarily, that'd be so fun. You have the corsets and I mean, like the pearls, and it's just the really feminine side of me that wants to go there and do that. Just take a second to imagine how much fun this would be. Just picture yourself wearing Victorian era clothing, drinking some tea with a British accent, and you could walk around with your British accent and no one's going to say, "Shut up, you're in America. Stop talking like that." It'd be great. I'd have a grand time. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I'm down for that. I am down for Victorian England. In my head, there's a really stunning aesthetic around the Victorian era, and I'm sure it was awful. I mean, I'm sure hygiene was terrible, and I've heard that it was not clean back then. I mean, I know Victorian Edinburgh in Scotland was not a happy place in that general time period, but I think that it would be fun to just visit and then maybe wear a corset or two and then get out of there. Back to my air-conditioned home. What is one book world that you'd want to visit, fictional or non-fictional? I'm gonna exclude the Wizarding World and Middle-earth for this question because if you wouldn't pick either of those options right off the top of your head, then you need to reconsider your life. So I'm gonna just make those not answer options for the purposes of this video so I can maybe dig a little deeper. And I would have to say, I would like to be in the world of The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I mean, the world is really cool because you've got Camp Half-Blood, you've got Camp Jupiter, you've got all the gods in Olympus, and you have the Mark of Athena, you have all this cool, awesome mythology stuff. But it would be so unfortunate to be just a regular mortal in this world. So I can only qualify this as my answer choice given that I'm A, a demigod, and be a cool one with powers. Like, I don't want to be in the house that you just sleep all day. That sounds so boring, and I don't want to be a child of Demeter where you can just grow flowers. No, I want the whole package. I want lightning or water or flying abilities. I want to do some cool stuff. I don't want to be left out of the action. Those are my conditions. What is one book world that you would not want to visit, fictional or non-fictional? Okay, I don't have this book with me, but I would definitely have to say I would not want to visit Rick Yancey's world of the Fifth Wave. Ever. I hope I never ever find myself in that position, because it sounds terrible. I mean, there are all these book worlds that probably suck. Like Divergent, won't want to go there, but at least it's kind of cool. At least you get to do the sorting ceremony and you get to go through the aptitude test and all that. That sounds fun. For a little while at least. Parts of these worlds sound like fun. The Throne of Glass era? I don't think I'd want to be there. That sounds too violent. I have the combat skills of like a mailbox. I don't want to be there. But there is magic involved, and it's cool magic, and fairies, and fantasy, and I'm all about fantasy. So I would go there for a very brief while. But the Fifth Wave just sounds awful. It's just a world gone completely to hell. And there are aliens everywhere. If you survive the lack of power, which would, I mean, single-handedly, that sounds like a horror movie in and of itself. And if you survived all the disease and the killing and the tidal waves, all of that, I don't want to go there. It sounds awful. So that's definitely my number one answer choice for which book world would you not want to visit ever. So lastly, would you rather go to a dystopian future like that of the Hunger Games, or to a violent past like that of the Game of Thrones series? I definitely don't want to go to the Hunger Games because I feel like I have a really, really limited tolerance for hunger and thirst, and that's just, I guess, part of the way I've been fortunate enough to live my life. So I don't want to go there. But I also don't really want to go to Game of Thrones either. I know how violent they were back in the medieval times, and like I was saying earlier in the video, they don't really have access to information and technology or other places. They have very, very limited reign of the world. I think this question really embraces the spirit of Passenger, because Passenger is all about traveling to new places and seeing all these different time periods and all these different people. That's what the book is really embracing. It's talking about racism and sexism and all these different issues that humanity has struggled with, but we're working on it. Humanity is slowly improving, I think, and maybe we're getting there. I just feel like that's the spirit of Passenger, and to answer that question, I would say that I'd have to take my chances in the Hunger Games. And also, I'm 17, so I really only have 1 year left. If I get chosen, that'd be really unfortunate. Anyway, I had a lot of fun thinking about these questions for the Passenger book tag. I'm really, really happy that I decided to do this, and I had a great time filming this video. So I tag everyone watching this to participate in the Passenger book challenge and get in the spirit of seeing the whole world at every stage of its being. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!